Evening everybody, Silverbolt here, back from the Transformers review. Now, in the Transformers universe, and across the various series, there have been Decepticons that aren't wholly evil. You've got the likes of Octane, Blitzwing, Glitz, Sideways, Armada Starscream. You know, and they're Decepticons that, if given the right push, could become Autobots. I mean, Octane in Series 3 pretty much does. Even Megatron himself isn't all bad, because Megatron has a very high sense of martial honour. So even he's not bad. But then you get Decepticons that are wholly evil. And sadistically evil. One of the most famous ones, of course, is Shockwave. Shockwave is... he's a bastard and a half, he is. He really is. Another one that would immediately spring to mind... Anybody scared of spiders? Is Tarantulas from Beast Wars. Tarantulas is a truly, truly despicable villain. Very much so. Hideous little bugger, isn't he? And he is one of the few Transformers, one of the few Transformers that you could genuinely consider to be scary. Because Tarantulas is as creepy as hell. Now, Tarantulas comes to Earth with Megatron and the rest of the Predacons in the first series of Beast Wars. And though his bio for his toy depicts him as a stealthy ninja, the cartoon, or whatever you call it, since it's all completely CGI, he's not even a stealth specialist. He's a scientist and a bit of a nasty psychopath. And he's the Predacon scientist. He's the Predacon ideas bot. However, he's also possibly the one Predacon that Megatron least trusts. And though it's never fully confirmed in the Beast Wars cartoon, though it is hinted at, especially by Megatron when he calls, and this is the most obvious hint to it, he calls Tarantulas a Unicron spawn. And it would appear that Tarantulas isn't actually a Predacon, he's actually a descendant of Unicron, which ties him into his real loyalties, which I'll get to in a bit. Now, in Season 1, Tarantulas pretty much sets himself up as the Predacon, so I know it all. It's Tarantulas that reconfigures a maximal protoform into Black Arachnia, and again into Inferno. Inferno's such a funny character. And he is the Predacon's ideasman. It's him that comes up with all the vast themes. But but like a spider, he's not a sociable creature. He has his den quite far away from the Predacon ship. Cheetor stumbles into it at least once, into Tarantulas' pit. And there's a twofold reason for this. One is that Tarantulas, A, doesn't like company, mainly because, he's a spider. And B, he's not technically working for the Predacons. But I'll get to that in a bit. As I said, in Series 1, Tarantulas is very distrusted by Megatron. Megatron doesn't trust him at all. Ironically, he actually has no reason to distrust him, technically, despite the fact that towards the end of Series 1, it does appear that Tarantulas has an awful lot of knowledge about the Vok, or as they're known in Beast Wars Series 1, simply the aliens. For an explanation of the Vok, watch Beast Wars, because it's a lot to go into. It's not really until Series 2 that Tarantulas, after getting his transmetal form, that of a spider crossed with a motorbike, a motocross bike, I think it is, or something like that, that Tarantulas' real loyalties come to the fore. He works for the Tripredacus Council, who rule the remaining Predacons and Decepticons. Because in Beast Wars, Predacons and Decepticons, the same as in RID, are almost two separate races. Predacons and Maximals, of course, are much further descended down the line from Autobots and Decepticons. They're much smaller. They probably have got an advanced format of the Micromaster technology within them. For an explanation of Micromasters, watch my Skystalker review. My God, I'm like a walking advertisement for my own videos. Anyway, when the Decepticon Ravage shows up on Earth, on the orders of the Tri-Predatorist Council, Ravage allies himself with the Maximals. So does Tarantulas. However, eventually they return back to the Predacon side. This is after Ravage has listened to Megatron talk for a little while. It's very paradoxical with Ravage because, of course, Ravage is actually on Earth twice at this point because he's also still stuck in the Ark. But there we go. After Series 2 and after the whole Ravage and Nemesis thing, Ravage and Tarantulas thing with Megatron, you don't see as much of Tarantulas, mainly because Megatron at this point knows exactly where Tarantulas' loyalties lie and presumably keeps him at a safe distance. Though he's still very heavily involved with Black Arachnia and Silverbolt. Silverbolt nearly kills Tarantulas at one point. And he's nearly killed as well by Tigerhawk, I think. Well, I can remember. Tarantulas does show up again in Series 3, though, especially towards the end, where he's trying to retake control over of the Ark. Not the Ark, sorry, the Nemesis, which is Megatron's purple ship. That's seen in the first episode of More Than Meets the Eye and never again. Though you assume that for his that it's underwater. Because you see, I believe the Nemesis, though it's never actually named, the Nemesis is the ship that they use in Series 2 to hide under. It's Megatron's underwater base, but that's not Beast Wars. Beast. I forgot my train of thought now. I hate it when I do that because I go off on these tangents and I can't fucking remember what I was talking about. That was it. Control of the Nemesis. That was it. Tarantulas apparently appears to meet his end in the form at the end of Series 3 when I think he actually does it by accident because he tries to take a Vok entity into himself. The Vok becomes fully aware and Tarantulas ends up getting blown up by his own machinery, comically leaving his legs. And that appears to be the end of Tarantulas, simply because he doesn't come back again in the Beast Wars cartoon. There is a brief reshot of him in Beast Machines, but that seems to be an amalgamation of various various Predacon and Maximal parts created by Megatron. But you can never be too sure because Tarantulas, like Pterosaur in Series 1, like Waspinator through all three series, repeatedly gets damaged and blown up and destroyed, but always comes back, so you never quite know for sure. Okay, Tarantulas is one of the more popular ones, showing up again in the BotCon exclusive voice plays and the BotCon exclusive comics, though I haven't really read a lot of them or seen them, so... with, of course, Tarantulas being... There's a lot of unanswered questions regarding Tarantulas, mostly regarding the Tri-Predatorist Council and where the Tarantulas and the Tri-Predatorist Council, which for some reason is also composed of what would appear to be the Autobot Ramhorn, are actually descendants of Unicron. So they're not technically Cybertronians. But that's pretty much a very different tangent altogether. That would be more in line with the Unicron and the Vok and... Not the Vok wouldn't have anything to do with that. And the Tri-Predatorist Council really need a review of their own, but never mind. Okay, now, on to the toy itself. Tarantulas is, in the cartoon, the creepiest Decepticon, Predacon going. Well, he's the creepiest Transformer that has ever come onto the screen. No Transformer has ever been as creepy as Tarantulas. He is just cringing, and especially in Series 1 when he's still very much the giant spider, because he comes down like the mountain to his helpless prey, which is usually Cheetor, and his mandibles are going, and his legs are moving, and it's the voice. He talks like he's got a mouthful of his own snot. You know, he's really sound like he sounds like he's constantly drowning in his own saliva. Because he's like... creepy. I know my mate Dave, because I opened these when I got them off my friend, off one of the forum spec. I opened them in Square Peg in Town on Thursday morning, and my mate Dave was with them, and I didn't tell him what it was, so he took it out of the box and went, "Ah!" So that was quite funny. The fact that he'd been hammered because he'd been working at the Paramore gig at the Carling Academy the previous night, I was upset. But then he was doing an emo gig, so yeah, he probably had to have been quite drunk. But anyway, Dane with the digressing. There you go, Dave, you got another mention. Be happy. To go with such a creepy character comes a creepy toy. I mean, look at the size of that thing. Fucking heck. But I do have visions of just going up to people who've got an arachnophobia and going, "Bleh!" Just watching them freak. That'd be so funny. It's so wrong. I wouldn't be allowed. I'd never get away with it. Can you imagine their faces though? Yes, I've got a very evil cackle. But anyway, the toy for the third try. Obviously, his name, a tarantula. Though no Pacific breed that I know of has those huge claws. Or whether they're supposed to be his mandibles or whatever, I don't know. But no toy that I know has those huge claws. Okay? A really nice sized toy. And I'll show you now, right? Got this awesome web launcher. And this toy was released in '96. So it's a good 12 years old now in 2008. And look at the power on the missile launcher. I think I'd have your eye out if the string wasn't attached. Sounds like a little yo-yo. Didn't just bounce off my ceiling. Hang on, I'm talking to the screen again instead of the camera. Never mind. Okay, so the Tarantulas toy. The Beast Wars toys, very easy to transform. Why am I doing it off camera? Right, you pull the legs down. You open the feet out. Never mind the fact that it looks like he's got a tail, but never mind. Pull the head down, the chest piece down. And there you have it. And his gun is in his back, in his missile launcher, and he's got little hooks for it sitting in his hands. Of course, in the cartoon, one of Tarantulas' main weapons that you often see a lot of it is those kind of like, I don't know, Gatling guns in his legs, the tips of his legs. Every other episode it was. There we go. Where they kept getting the ammunition for them, I don't know. But never mind. But that's Tarantulas in his robot mode. I'll just sling that in there like that for now. Okay. Now the Beast Wars stuff. I don't have many Beast Wars. This is only the third one I've got because I've got Waspinator and I've got Silverbolt, of course. But Waspinator and Tarantulas, they actually have two heads. You have the obvious Tarantulas, very Tarantulas style head, and then you've got a more kind of looks similar to the Ninja Robot from Transformers Generation 1. Last episode of Season 1? Enter the Nightbird, that was it, the Nightbird. Very Nightbird-esque face. Possibly keeping with the fact that he's supposed to be a ninja, despite the fact that they never really released him as a ninja. I like this toy, I really do, and I've never been a huge fan of the Beast Wars toys, but I'm really fond of this one, and I'm fond of Waspinator. So I'll probably try and get some more of them actually, because I do want an Inferno, because Inferno's a fantastic character again. Beast Wars definitely had some of the strongest, most developed characters going for it, really did. Another thing about it is the front forelegs, which is a really nice touch, I think, are his missiles. Though sadly, despite what you might expect, he doesn't come with a web. Because Tarantulas, of course, was quite famous for making those... Oh, helps if I remember that the button's on the bottom. He's quite famous for making those energon webs that kept trapping the Maximals. Because Tarantulas like to eat things. The only Transformer I've ever seen eat things, and if the way that Tarantulas eats is an indication of the way Transformers eat, I'm glad they never showed anything else. It really does give you a case of arachnophobia if you don't have it already. quite good posability, though he's a bit top heavy in the fact that his leg joints are quite weak, but that might just be the age of the toy. I think Transmetal Tarantulas has also been very much accused of being very top heavy in robot mode. The only fault I have with the toy is that the spider legs, unless I'm doing it in some way wrong, the spider legs don't point forwards the way they really should. They should point forwards like they do in the cartoon, but they don't. But other than that, I have no complaints about this toy. I think it's very nice. I paid about 12 quid for Tarantulas, and it wasn't a buy it now. I won it. I think that I was the 4th bid or something like that. So it doesn't seem to be that expensive. There is a 2006 release of him. He's one of the 10th anniversary ones. And he comes with a part for Transmutate, and if I could get the whole of Transmutate, I'd really do a review of Transmutate. If anybody has a Transmutate they don't want, I'll have it, because I'd love to do a review of Transmutate, because the episode which Transmutated in is a really, really powerful. Beast Wars has some excellent storylines to it, much more than you'd expect in a kids' cartoon. But anyway, okay, I've waffled on for long enough about Tarantulas, despite because he's such a cool, evil character. The baddies are always the most fun, and Tarantulas he's a real baddie. You know, he's a sneaky, conniving, manipulative git who's also just so sadistic. But anyway, that's him for now. Really good baddie, really good baddie. Silverbolt with Tarantulas, signing off, going au revoir, adios, auf Wiedersehen.